we're going to talk about an anime about a teenage boy wearing a tracksuit who's transported to a fantasy world to be surrounded by a bunch of beautiful women. And if you think that I've already talked about this subject, well, you're not wrong. It's just that this topic has been really overly popular. This particular title is called Konosuba, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World. This is another series that started as a light novel series first in 2012, moved on to getting a manga published in 2014, and then started running an anime adaptation in 2016, with its second season having just wrapped up in March of 2017. Oh, and there's audio dramas and video games, one of which is a visual novel coming out later this year that features some kind of an underwear judgment system. And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about what kind of series this is, then I guess that's what the rest of this video is for. Kazuma is a 16-year-old high schooler who's a shut-in gamer but happens to go outside one day because it's launch day for a particular MMORPG he's really excited about. He sees a girl about to get hit by a vehicle in the middle of the road, and in a courageous act, he shoves her out of the way. In the process, nobody actually gets hit by the vehicle. Rather, Kazuma dies purely out of shock, thinking he would be hit by the vehicle, but he never was. It's here he meets Aqua, a goddess of some sort who offers to either send him straight to heaven or to revive him in a fantasy world that functions a lot like a JRPG. Along with getting reborn into a new world, Aqua also offers to allow Kazuma to take one thing he wants with him, anything at all to help him in his journey. In an act of getting even with Aqua just because she found his untimely death to be so amusing, he chooses specifically to take the goddess Aqua with him. Aqua is none too pleased by this. She's told by her replacement goddess that if she and Kazuma can manage to defeat the Demon King plaguing the land, they can both come back to where they belonged in the first place. So this becomes the goal of both Kazuma and Aqua: defeat the Demon King, get Aqua home to her rightful place as a goddess, and get Kazuma back to Japan. In this world, they both become adventurers, claiming special JRPG-style jobs, Kazuma as a standard adventurer, and Aqua as an advanced-classed Archpriest, and together they form a party with Archwizard Megumin and the Crusader Darkness. Now, the series is pitched as a comedy, and in a lot of ways the humor really does land. Situationally, Aqua ends up being relatively useless, even as a goddess in the land that actually recognizes her as a water goddess. However, no one recognizes her as the goddess she is. She learns useless party tricks and drinks away most of the party's money. Megumin is amazing with her explosion magic, but it's so powerful that she can only use it once per day. And well, Darkness is a masochist who loves pain and shame, and, well, I guess that's funny to somebody. Not really my thing, but, I kinda get it. What's funnier about her character, really, is that she's a fantastic tank, as in she's great at taking a hit, but she can't actually hit anything with her sword worth a damn. I'm also really glad that Kazuma is not actually romantically interested in any of his fellow party members. A little refreshing, especially after having also just come off the heels of Re:Zero. A lot of the animation and joke delivery is well timed to really frame the humor. The second season of Konosuba also has a slight change in its animation style that makes it a lot more cartoonish and rubbery, making it more visually comedic. Its two opening themes are both pretty fun and catchy too. I can somewhat tolerate a cliched series like this when it doesn't take itself nearly as seriously. But man, maybe there's just some things that maybe I'm just too old for. The overwhelming amount of sexual humor really doesn't get a rise out of me. Boob and butt shots, especially from the first season, are utterly distracting. Kazuma learns a skill that allows him to steal things from people, and almost the only thing he ends up stealing is underwear straight off the bodies of young women around him. He then uses it to threaten young ladies with sexual assault. And then there's the episode where he visits an establishment run by succubi, who give men sexy dreams, which is like, okay, I expected that kind of thing out of this genre. But then Kazuma has to ask his succubus whether or not it's okay to dream about underage girls. And some of you will say, well, yeah, the age of consent in Japan is a lot younger than it is in the Western world, so you should be okay with it. But look, Kazuma even asks about the underage girls taking into consideration the underage laws, which are probably applied to Japanese law rather than mythical fantasy law. So he's questioning having sexual dreams about little girls even younger than Japan's ages of consent. So, yeah, this does not sit well with me. But you know, funny enough, this isn't nearly the same problem in the manga. Kazuma still steals underwear, and he still visits the succubi, but when he visits them, he never asks about the age of the women he can dream about. And the boob and butt shots are absolutely at a minimum. In that regard, I found the manga much more tolerable than the anime. However, the manga lacks the comedic timing of the anime, so they both have their flaws. But ultimately, it's hard not to compare Konosuba to Re:Zero after I had just finished reviewing that one before this one. Much like Re:Zero, Konosuba is an incomplete work. Again, the light novels are likely much farther along than either the manga or the anime adaptations. But neither the anime nor the manga tell a complete story. It just sort of ends, feeling like the story isn't even halfway done. They never get to the Demon King, and nobody ever gets home. But I do prefer the story of Konosuba to that of Re:Zero, as the comedy is mostly good. There are lots of references to how JRPGs really work, and most importantly, again, none of the women are a truly romantic interest, so it doesn't distract from the rest of the story or the comedy. Watching each of the characters grow in their RPG-like class abilities actually makes it somewhat rewarding, and you're always hoping you'll see them eventually be able to take on this Demon King that you never actually get to see. And that's a shame, because the end of the first season teases that the second season is coming, but the end of the second season is just like, thanks, bye! So this is just another anime that may not ever see a real ending. Is this a regular trend in anime these days? To start on anime and just sort of cross your fingers and hope they actually finish the story they were trying to tell? I hope this doesn't keep up. So while there were things about the series that really rubbed me the wrong way, I think it's worth the watch, and if you're a fan of JRPGs, and if you have to pick between a whole bunch of Teenage Boy Goes to Fantasy World series, this might not be a bad pick. It's certainly a better one, in personal opinion, than Re:Zero. This is another series that is now available streaming legally and free on Crunchyroll.com, and it's easy to finish with only 20 episodes to knock out. Give it a shot soon. Thank you as always for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next review.